Luna Ascending by Zaina Wilder. Copyright Zaina Wilder 2024. All rights reserved. Chapter 12. Freya. The place is jaw-dropping. We're in an actual, I shit you not, ballroom. There are chandeliers everywhere and waiting staff for your every whim. Despite all that, it is agonising. I'm paraded in front of what feels like an entire world of relatives, all dressed like royalty and moving with far more elegance and grace than I can muster in my borrowed heels. Women peer at me, several looking distinctly jealous, and the men ogle. Polite society or not, lecherous old men are still very much a thing. They're making my skin crawl. I seethe quietly to myself as I remove my arm from the clutches of yet another tuxedo-wearing, feathery-moustached French uncle. This shit is wearing thin. Mark vanishes just into the second hour, exactly what he promised not to do. He deposits me with a group of his friends for just a minute. The crowd of elegant men and women flutter around me briefly, taking interest as if I'm some new toy, before mostly getting distracted and floating gracefully away. I'm left with a few boisterous young men, all of whom are blatantly trying to one-up each other. One man, Benjamin, is distinctly worse for wear already. He insists slurringly that I call him Benji, because all the pretty girls do, and seems intent on boring me to death. I have to really try hard not to focus on the crumbs inhabiting his moustache as he speaks at me. "The problem, you see, Freya," he slurs, "the problem with cava is that it just isn't the same quality as champagne." His voice seems to get louder and more obnoxious as he leans over. Good grief, is that a sword he's reaching for? I shrink back, alarmed. "The problem," he continues, pausing to grab an unopened bottle of champagne from a passing waiter. "The problem is that not even the glass is good quality." He aims the sword towards the top of the bottle. "The problem, darling, is that one can't ever take the top off a damn bottle of cava cleanly with one's sword." He aims, remarkably accurately for a drunk man, at the top of the bottle, which shoots off at the whispering touch of the metal blade. Waiters dive forward with glasses as the champagne flows. Members of the crowd clap politely before turning away, obviously having seen the party trick many times before. I accept a glass, groaning inwardly. Who are these people that even talk like this is normal conversation? While he's momentarily distracted, hanging the sword back on the wall, I make my escape and sneak off in search of Mark. I teeter through the hall, walking as normally as the blasted heels let me. After a few mishaps with obstacles, I'm ready to admit it's possible the amount of alcohol I've had isn't helping. Finally, I spot Mark's immaculate suit and perfectly coiffured curls in one of the vestibules. He's sideways to me, talking to a French countess he introduced earlier. Goddess, he is a striking-looking man. A surprising prick of jealousy needles me to stalk closer. The Countess looks over Mark's shoulder and squarely into my eyes before smiling malevolently. I watch as the Frenchwoman glides her body hard up against Mark. I'm so close now I can hear her purr. "So lovely to get some time alone with you again, Marcel." before she locks her arms behind his back and presses her lips into his. No fucking way. My mind explodes in anger. I am not putting up with being paraded around his relatives like some show horse and being dumped with his stupidly pompous, arrogant friends for him to abandon me at the first opportunity and lock lips with some aristocratic French harlot. I feel really odd. I can't reason with myself. It's not like I'm attached to Mark. All the pent-up frustrations and disappointment from the past weeks boil over. I scream loudly. I'm vibrating with a raw power I've never experienced before. My whole body is on fire and deadly cold all at once. My vision tunnels and I'm suddenly hideously nauseous. Thunderous pain splits my head. Vaguely aware of a shocked-looking Mark starting towards me, I turn and bolt into the ballroom. The nearest chandelier bursts into a million pieces, shattering over a screaming crowd of guests. I have just enough time to register that everyone is clutching their heads before my sight fades into blackness, and I hit the floor.